Okay. Test, test, test. 1, 2, 3. All good. All right.
That's really cool.
There's some steps here if you guys, whenever, yeah. So don't want anyone to fall in there. Okay. Well, good evening, everyone. Thanks for coming to Life Church, St. Peter's. This event is titled "Defending Your Family's Faith." My name is Jair Estrada, and I attend Life Church together with my wife Megan and my 2 children, Caleb and Lydia. We have been attending this church for about 4 years and are very glad to be friends with our pastor, Tom Kyle, and his wife, Randy Kyle. They should be joining us sometime later, and I hope you guys have a chance to meet them as well. I also, if you want to know more about the staff, you can go to the Life Church website, and we will have more information there. This event is being organized by a sub-ministry within Life Church called Reasons for the Hope. And it started out of what I call a silent need. The need being that the church can benefit from being equipped in knowing how to face challenges to our family's faith. The main challenges being the increased influence of non-Christian worldviews that prey upon the truth that we hold dearly. This year, I gave an introduction to the Reasons for the Hope ministry, which is recorded in our YouTube channel. And in there, I mentioned national statistics from a Pew Research Center regarding how secularism is increasing in our country. For more details, I recommend you watch the video. Also today with me is here's a group of wonderful people who I am proud to call friends. Each of them is representing a local ministry that shares the theme of defending your family's faith. Please give them a round of applause. Okay. I will start out from the far right. We have Jeremy Smith representing Rethink 315. Jeremy's life miraculously changed when Jesus rescued him in 1996. Since then, personally and professionally, he's been passionate about helping Christians and non-Christians to think through and seriously consider what they believe, why they believe. What they believe, and why it matters. From 2000 to 2010, Jeremy's professional history included consultative sales roles in both legal and in the legal industry and educational publishing. From 2010 to 2020, Jeremy served as the executive director for Faith Ascent, a parachurch organization training college-bound Christian teens in apologetics. In October 2020, with a team of like-minded friends, Jeremy founded Rethink 315 and serves as the executive director. With 10-plus years in vocational ministry and 20-plus years serving and engaging non-Christians and doubting Christians, Jeremy brings an informed perspective to his leadership role at Rethink 315. Jeremy also provides consulting services to faith-based nonprofits, including churches, and chaplain services to C-level corporate leaders. Jeremy has studied select topics related to Christian apologetics, Christian theology, evangelism, and philosophy through Biola University in La Mirada, California, and Covenant Theological Seminary in St. Louis, Missouri. Jeremy is also affiliated with the Missouri Apologetics Network, St. Louis Reasonable Faith Chapter, St. Louis Reasons to Believe Chapter, and Midrash Commentary on Culture. Jeremy is happily married to Katie and is grateful father to Elijah, Lucy, and Lorelei Ray. Another applause, please. Next, we have Julie Loos representing Moms in Prayer. Julie has 12 years of leadership in Moms in Prayer International, serving as the Missouri State Coordinator for 4 years and now as a college group's facilitator. She also serves the group Mama Bear Apologetics by engaging in outreach and enjoys writing and speaking about the importance of prayer in apologetics and how to spiritually prepare your students for college. Julie has contributed to the first Mama Bear's Apologetics book by writing all the prayers and co-authoring chapter 1. She has also made a contribution to the upcoming Mama Bear book. She enjoys studying God's Word, exercising, reading, gardening, and cooking. Next on, we have Letitia Wong, representing Reasonable Faith, chapter St. Louis. And I'm sorry, please give her a round of applause to Julie. Yes. Letitia, over here representing Reasonable Faith, has been an avid student of apologetics since age 13. Since that time, she has been a speaker and teacher of apologetics and Christian ethics as it relates to edifying the church and applying Christian ethics in culture and in public society. She has presented at Faith Ascend Ministry, Reasonable Faith, Concerned Women for America, and has been at Ratio Christi Director at Missouri Baptist University. Currently, Letitia is serving as Vice President of the Frederick Douglass Foundation of Missouri, and she's also a member of St. Paul's Evangelical Free Church along with her husband and children. An applause for her, please. Thank you. Last but not least, we have Mark Cruz representing Ratio Christi. Mark Taylor, I'm so sorry. Mark Taylor. I know, meant to say Tom Cruise, my bad. Mark Taylor. Mark is an apologist, evangelist, and Bible teacher, and he's on staff with the Ratio Christi Ministry. He is the chapter director for an apologetics club at Washington University in St. Louis, and is involved with outreach at universities in Europe. He's written a book called From Atheism to Eternal Life, which presents an intellectual framework for faith in Christ, including the existence of God and the truth of the Bible. Each of them will have the opportunity to present their respective ministries to you, and then we will move on into a discussion setup, where we will discuss several issues facing the church today. As we open up each topic, we will have a microphone available for the audience if they have any questions for the panelists. We ask that you raise your hand if you have a question, and the microphone will be passed on to you. We will also have a recess of approximately 10 to 15 minutes to enter in the second half of the night, where you may enjoy some other treats, desserts. So please give a round of applause to the panelists again. Thank you very much. Now, what we're going to be doing right now is that each of the panelists is going to be presenting something they have, a message they have for you to share today. So we'll start out with Jeremy. Jeremy, you want to come up?
I was supposed to present a message?
Yeah. Just something about your ministry.
Introducing...
Yes, Rethink 315.
Okay,
yes.
Great. Well, how is everyone? All right.
Yes, the mic.
Yep. Testing 1, 2, 3. Okay, mic check. Anybody want to rap battle maybe real quick just to make sure this thing's on? You? No? All right, just thought I'd ask. Okay, I was actually absent from a couple of these planning meetings. It's been a crazy couple of months for me professionally. And so what I'm about to share with you is off the cuff. But I think what I'm supposed to do here, if I recall correctly, just a few seconds ago, Jarir said that I needed to talk a little bit about the ministry. And that's easy to do, really, because it's a passion of mine, and it's something that you could say is maybe 20 years in the making. I didn't grow up in a Christian context. I actually I got saved when I was 17, and because I spent the first almost half of my life looking at Christianity and looking at church through the eyes of a very skeptical, smart aleck, somewhat hostile non-Christian, I feel like I've brought, by God's grace, I've brought some of that sensitivity to the way that I handle discussions with non-Christians. And not even sensitivity, some of just that informs, right? That informs the way that I talk to people that don't really believe the things that I believe. So non-Christians for sure, but also maybe just as importantly, hurting Christians, doubting Christians, struggling Christians, young Christians trying to sort out what they believe, why it's believable, why it matters. And so, while I've been doing youth ministry for almost 15 years, 10 years full time, I feel like, it's just been 2 decades of thinking through and practicing and sometimes failing at this task of giving an answer to those that ask me or ask us as Christians for, the reason for the hope that we have in Jesus. And of course, trying to do that with gentleness and respect adds an extra layer of difficulty on it, right? Especially if you're wired like me. While I am a Christian, I love Jesus, I am born again, regenerated, saved, whatever word you want to use, I'm not perfect on this side of eternity. And so that gentleness and respect bit is sometimes not easy for me. So the reason that we call our organization Rethink 315, how am I doing on time? We're okay? Is because what I've noticed over the last 10 or 15 years, kind of navigating the different apologetic circles and subcultures and getting to know people, and I'm nothing special, but I like to network and I like to meet new people, and so I've observed what it looks like to do apologetics in our cultural context, and I've observed this mostly by watching others and listening and reading and hanging out with people doing apologetics, and what I've noticed is that there are different ways of doing apologetics and different ways of defining apologetics. And there are different discussions under the umbrella of apologetics and different camps or tribes, if you will. And so with our ministry, what I wanted to do was not so much differentiate us from other ministries that are doing apologetics, but really I wanted to try to take what I've seen that is really good in these different camps and different tribes, and you could even say different traditions. It's almost like denominations, right? Different ways of doing apologetics or thinking about apologetics or practicing apologetics. And I've tried to observe and I've tried to say, okay, so what are these folks doing well? What are these folks doing well? What are these okay, great. Let's take all the best stuff and let's get all the best local speakers, authors, professors, pastors, apologists, and let's make this available to churches and to youth groups particularly. And so our emphasis is on young people. We really have a passion for that 16 to about 20 age range, so late high school, early college. And I have a huge heart for youth pastors and parents and grandparents who are doing the hard work, maybe impossible work it seems, of translating and hearing and understanding. The generational divides are, there's nothing new under the sun, but it does feel, doesn't it, like it's a little harder to have conversations these days. The vocabulary, the words, the definitions, things have just changed so much. It's like the goalposts are constantly moving. And so I try to listen to the experts. I try to link up the right teachers with the right topics at the right time. And I try to keep my finger on the pulse of the questions that young people are asking and the questions that they're being asked through surveys, through conversations, and through observation, through participation. And I try to help parents and youth pastors. That's a big passion of mine, just personally. So it's a team effort. I'm the director. I guess I get a lot of credit. I helped to start the organization, and I get most of the face time, but it is a team effort. Folks up here are in direct or indirect ways a part of this, and I'm just super happy to be here. This is maybe almost like maybe the 12th or 13th event that I've got to, or someone from our organization has got to participate in, and we just launched in October, so, oh, God, it's been so good, but I'm tired. Not tonight, but just generally speaking. Anyway, I'm wearing out my welcome. Thank you for the opportunity to share, and I'm just super excited to hear your questions and to interact with you. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Jeremy. All right, next in line will be Julie Loos. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And I first want us all to give a shout out to this gentleman right here, our moderator. He has put a ton of work, ton of work and thought and prayer into this. This has really been on his heart, and I think this church and the others who have come from other churches are really blessed for how much he loves you and wants you to know how to help your family defend your faith, and I just appreciate that about him. Again, my name is Julie Loos, and I'm just going to tell you really briefly a little bit about how I got into studying worldview and apologetics, and then about 3 ministries that I have been involved in at some point that have really helped me help my family defend our faith. So first of all, I'm self-studied in apologetics, and that is where we all at least should be. And that's all you need, really, is get off the bench and get in the game and start learning about worldview and apologetics training. Now, I did pursue a little certificate through Frank Turek's Cross-Examined Instructors Academy and through Biola Apologetics. And if you really get into it, you can go all the way up to a PhD. But all that you really need to do is start studying your Bible, studying some of the apologists out there, listening to podcasts, and getting involved. And I want to encourage you that you can do this. And it's never too early to start, and it's never too late. So I hope you'll get in the game. 3 things that have helped me with my apologetics training. I was involved in a ministry, which you're going to hear more about from Mark. I'm not going to steal his thunder, but it's called Ratio Christi, and that means the reason of Christ in Latin. And it's an apologetics ministry for college students. It helps them learn how to defend their faith, and I'll let him tell you the rest of the story. But I served on the national staff of Ratio Christi for about 5 years, and I was involved in outreach, communications, and prayer. And one of my main passions and roles was to reach the church and let them know the need to start training our kids in this way. Early on, don't wait till they get to college. You'll learn tonight that's too late. It's really too late now to start training then. So that's Ratio Christi. Then, through Ratio Christi, I met another lady. Her name is Hillary Ferrer, and she started a ministry called Mama Bear Apologetics. She also had a heart like I did to get moms involved in apologetics training. And as Letitia can tell you, when she and I first started studying apologetics, there weren't many women doing this. And when we found each other, I remember when I first read about Letitia, she was going to be at one of Jeremy's Faith Ascent events that Frank Turek was speaking at, and I was just blown away that there was another woman in the St. Louis area that loved apologetics as much as I did. And so we've all been doing all kinds of stuff together for several years, representing different ministries. Well, Mama Bear is now a full-blown ministry. It's a podcast, it's a website, and there's 2 books. The first book is about how to empower your kids to challenge cultural lies, and the second book comes out in October, and it's on a really hot and heavy topic, literally and figuratively. It's about sexuality and how to help your kids live in the identity that God has given them from a biblical standpoint. So that has helped me kind of hone some of my understanding about certain topics and how to help our kids spot the lies that are in the culture and compare them to a biblical worldview and then show them what is better about a biblical worldview. So that's the second ministry. And then the third one that I've actually been involved in the longest is Moms in Prayer International. I've been involved in it for 20 years in different capacities, and I'm now the college group's liaison. And what that means is, well, first of all, Moms in Prayer gathers moms to pray weekly, usually just during the school year, to pray specifically for kids in their schools, from kindergarten through college. It's been one of the biggest blessings in my life personally. It's helped me grow spiritually. It's grown my prayer life. I have used what I've learned there to teach my kids and my family how to pray. And I have a real heart for the college campus because that's where my faith was solidified. I won't tell you how many years ago, but it's a whole different ball game now, right, when you get to the college campus. And I just have a heart for college kids and the campus and the cultural issues that they're facing. So I help equip equip and encourage moms on how to pray weekly in their Moms in Prayer groups. And I stay in touch with campus ministries. I'm involved in different areas where I'm hearing from the campus, I'm reading research, and we're learning how we more strategically and specifically pray for the ministries, the professors, the students, and the issues on campus. All three of those have helped me help my family defend the faith. And we, all of us, have resources out front that we hope you'll check out, many about those ministries. And then there's also just a few books out there that are good resources you might want to look into getting in the future. So I am happy to be here, and I look forward to our time together.
Thank you, Julie. All right, next in line we have Letitia.
Thank you for everyone's time. I'll try to keep it as brief as I can, but Jair said that I had started learning and teaching apologetics at age 13. Not teaching part. I wasn't teaching apologetics at age 13, but at age 13, I became intensely interested in how to answer tough questions about my faith. So like a lot of kids growing up in church, we did not talk about why you believe what you believe in Sunday school. And when I was about 13, I discovered that a lot of my friends at school did not share my Christian faith. They had other faiths, and they were trying to ask me to join their faith. And I said, okay, let me investigate what this is about. Well, what do I believe? I know what the gospel is as far as I was taught. But how do I defend that? How do I know that's from the Bible? How do I know? There's tons of questions. And so I began a journey about learning about my faith and why I should believe it. And when I got into high school, God provided me with a lot of skeptical friends. Again, not sharing my Christian faith. And they peppered me with all kinds of things. Well, why should I believe this? How do I know the Bible is written by God? How is it that it's not written by just a bunch of men who just made it all up? And I'm like, those are really good questions. Maybe I need to go find out. And so I began to read everything that I could under the sun. And that's how I found out about apologetics. And I started saying, oh, I'm really interested in learning more. And then I found friends in high school and college that also had these questions. They were receiving questions from their friends. And so I began, at that point, sharing with them what I knew and what I found out, how to find resources, what to read. And from then I thought, wow, if my friends and I have all these questions that haven't been answered in church growing up, how many more growing up everywhere else in the country, in churches all over the place, how many other people have questions that haven't been answered? And so that's when I decided that I was going to be involved in Christian ministry, hopefully sharing these things, talking about questions. And so I feel like a lot of kids that have grown up in church, a lot of these things are not talked about. And I had to find out these answers for myself. And I want to make it easier for kids growing up in church, as well as if you're my age or older, it doesn't really matter, finding out these questions in church. So the ministry that's on my shirt right now, actually my husband Conway is the director of Reasonable Faith in St. Louis, and I'm just at that point I'm just helping him out, but our journeys are similar. We grew up in church together and started learning about apologetics together, and we really wanted the community and churches to be able to have access and somebody available to them to help learn. And it's not too late, and it's not too early to start learning about the challenges to our faith and the challenges that we can meet as Christians, because everybody deserves an answer, yourself included, your neighbor, your friend, anyone who is skeptical. So I want to encourage people to take a look at our table outside with resources and sign up on the sign-up sheet if you are interested in joining our meeting. We have one every month, and learn more about reasonable faith. So I wanted to end by saying that everyone is welcome to learn at any level. You don't have to be an apologist with a degree. You just need to know what to believe. And I want to encourage anyone who is in high school or college or even grade school or middle school, it is not too early to start answering your own questions or the questions of your friends. I was kind of put through that gauntlet of friends that asked those questions for me, but I know that we all have questions of our own. And so I just want to encourage you, don't be afraid of those questions. Don't be afraid to ask. And if you don't get the answer, please don't stop until you find it. And that's pretty much all I have to say about that.
All righty. Last but not least, Mark Taylor. Thank you so much, Mark.
Thanks, John.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, great to be with you tonight. And so I'm with the ministry that Julie mentioned called Ratio Christi. So the main focus is on college campuses. And for me personally, that was a very important time in my life. I actually grew up in a Christian home. I was saved at a pretty young age, and lots of great Bible teaching. But I really had heard very little of apologetics, and I really started in high school to really start to, even teachers in the classroom would kind of blast Christianity and hearing a lot of negative things. And college was a very important time for me because I didn't lose my faith, but I was starting to think, all smart people are non-Christians is what I was thinking. And I really needed an intellectual foundation. And so it was really perfect for me in college. I started reading C.S. Lewis. I took several courses on what's called epistemology, which is just how do we learn and know anything, especially the things that aren't visible, and really started to strengthen my faith. And so ever since then, I've really had an interest actually in reaching out to people who need more evidence for faith, and especially to college students. And when someone goes off to college, like say a Christian kid, grow up in a great Christian home, but they can go off to college, and all of a sudden they're hearing professors and other people saying, it's not true, it's not true, it's not true. And of course, apologetics is about saying it is true. And we live in a time now where really there is just overwhelming evidence for God and for the truth of the Bible. Overwhelming. But it really is getting drowned out by kind of the false messages and the false narrative that say science has disproved Christianity and things like that. So a very important time in college. And so the main focus that Ratio Christi has is starting apologetics clubs at campuses. Christian apologetics clubs. And we don't compete with any other, evangelical ministries. We like to partner with Cru and InterVarsity and any other kind of Christian ministries, really work together with them. And for a Christian kid, it can be, in a sense, kind of a dangerous time in life going off to college, but actually it can be a great opportunity to really grow in their faith. And I think if they get around where, yes, now they're mixing more with non-Christians, now they're hearing even some criticisms, but if they're also around people that are grounded in the truth and learning the truth and answering these questions together, it actually can be a time of tremendous growth for a Christian college student and really turn them into soldiers for Christ, for the rest of their life. But it's also a great opportunity for unbelieving college students. Some of them, it's going to be the best and maybe the last really great opportunity to reach them with the gospel. Because think of them too. They're away from their friends. They're away from their home. They're in a new area. They're probably open to more ideas. And there are a lot of people who actually come to know Jesus at college. And actually some of the people I admire most in apologetics and other areas came to know Christ in college. So it's a great time for evangelism as well. So with Ratio Christi, part of our purpose is strengthening the faith of the Christian students, but also it's doing active evangelism on campus and doing that together with the Christian students, training them, helping them, seeing them grow in confidence. But then a third thing I would say is just on the college campus, being kind of a visible presence that says Christianity is true. It's true. Because that's a lot of what we need. There's this false perception out there that it's just a fairy tale and that believing is just to make us feel good. And so, yeah, if any of you, anyone in your family is going to college now or be going to college soon, it would be great for them. One thing I would say is wherever they're going to college, if they find a good evangelical Bible-believing church close by, right? Probably one that has other students from the college in there as well, so they get some good Christian friends. But also make sure they really get plugged into a good ministry on campus. Like I said, Ratio Christi would be a great one. Of course, our main focus is apologetics, but maybe also get involved with like Crew or InterVarsity. And again, meeting other Christian students, hanging out with other Christian students, so that it's a time of when they don't go downhill in their faith, they actually get strengthened in their faith and really become strong witnesses. And right now in the St. Louis area, WashU is the only place where we have a Ratio Christi club. Now we're hoping to get a couple more started. And if you know someone who's a student, Christian student at one of the local campuses, they could actually be instrumental in helping to get a new Ratio Christi chapter started there. We actually have to have students to be the ones that start it anyways. And it really could end up being a really cool thing for them if they're able to help start one. So we'd love to hear from them. And too, if they're going to school somewhere else around the country, there's a lot of campuses that have Ratio Christi Apologetics Club, or other Christian groups too, that are maybe using apologetics as part of what they do. But yeah, so great to be here with you tonight. Love to talk to any of you, and hopefully we can stick around later and talk together, and also be glad if you want to reach out to any of us, anytime as well. So thank you.
All right, well, thanks again for you guys coming here again. Thank you very much. What I like to do right now is just take a couple of maybe 10, 15 minutes, and I'm going to let the panelists go to where the stands are, resources. Can interact with them a little bit for the next 10, 15 minutes, stretch, eat more pizza, get a drink, whatever you guys like. And then we will come back for the juicy part of this evening, which is the Q&A, where everyone gets to ask all kinds of questions, unfiltered, all right? And for the live stream, for those who are watching us, thank you very much for being with us tonight, and we'll be right back in about 10, 15 minutes. Thank you.